Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to Punched Out Thursday to Die For with Krista, Kathy, myself, and Dorothy, Sonia, and Rebecca. And today I am planning on making, I'm trying to get this to look right, okay, this right here, and I already got the pieces cut out and punched out mostly. I might have to do something, but anyway, that's my plan. I am using some of these. You can see the utensils here. I'm just going to cut the end off, but I thought I'd leave it all on there so you can see what it was coming from. And there's this little circle here. And then on this, it's got like a place that's trash that you would normally throw away. I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to use this. And some of this I cut out with just my trimmer. Oh, and these little pieces right here, they came from this little one right here. I had to cut that too because it's so little, but yeah, I cut 4 of them for that. And I cut 3 of these, one's in green. These are 1/4 inch punches. And then these little, you may not be able to see them because it's white on white, but it came from this punch right here. And this is my screen. This was 3 by 5. And I just kind of cut these as I went. I think this is 2.75 and then this a little bit smaller. But I'm going to start with this one. I picked gray for the color of my Game Boy because that's the color I had here at the house that the kids all played with. And I'm making the top 2 corners at 1/8 inch cut and then the bottom right 3/8. But first I'm going to add this little strip, and it is divided up. It has one long strip across the center and then 2 smaller little chunks on the right hand side and left hand side. And I'm going to use my 1/8 inch punch on those. It's going to be a little thicker, but it goes through just fine. And y'all might be thinking, she isn't inking that. Did she forget? Yes, she did forget. I won't even think of it until the end. So there'll be pieces I would have liked to have inked that is not going to get inked. And I do know that if I had remembered to do it, you would be able to see these little pieces better because of the inked edges. But you'll see them in the close-ups, I think. I think you can see them pretty good in the close-ups. But this is one thing I do like about the corner trumper. It will go through 2 layers. And 3 sometimes. I have done 3. But, you know, those little ones you use your thumb on, there is no way. At least no way for me. When I did the Easter one with the egg shape that I used on there, I ordered me, after doing that layout, one of those things that help you punch, where you set your punch on there and then you got this big handle. Yeah, y'all probably won't be seeing me use it because it is kind of big, but yeah, I'll be using it on like that egg punch, maybe a couple of more, but I had a really hard time punching that. Arthritis in your thumbs, you need a little bit of help. But back to the punch art. I made my screen, well, you see me trim it just a little bit more, and put it to the left. And I also did the rounded bigger corner in the bottom right and the 2 at the top with the 1/8. And then that left-hand corner, I didn't punch at all because it don't look punched in the original Game Boy. And here on the screen, the one that I was looking at that I lost and could not use anymore, but I'm doing from memory, it had these little orange things all the way across the bottom. Well, instead of doing all those little tiny things, I just used my scoreboard. Yeah, that's the word for it, scoreboard. And scored it all the way across to give it a little bit of dimension. And then I used my maple punch for the bushes that was on that screen. And then there was this green pipe looking kind of sort of thing. So I'm assuming this is Mario Brothers. I never played it, so I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that because I have glanced at the screen before. And so I've got that pipe there. Was a little thing with bricks up there in the air, but I'm not going to put it on there. I am going to put the three clouds though. And I don't notice that this screen is crooked right here until I am doing the editing. And I did straighten it. I really did. It looks better now. And for the clouds, I punched out those little tiny flowers. And I cut the two bottom petals off so they look more like clouds on that screen. Now, of course, you could have cut these by hand, but it is punched out Thursday, so I did use my dies and cut these out. And I'm going to add dimension to them. And here's where I remember, oh no, I forgot the circle underneath here. So I did a 1-inch circle to go underneath my little cross, I'm not sure what to call it, buttons, cross buttons. How about that? Cross buttons. Definitely would have looked better inked because it would show up better. But you can see it in the final layout, so I just didn't bother taking it back off and left it. And I cut the tip ends of the utensils off because there's like little circles and tiny raised areas. So I am putting them on there. And the edges were a little off, a little crooked because I can never cut straight without a line. And I just went ahead and left them too. They were so tiny, I thought how hard that would be to go ahead and cut them and get them straight. I'd probably have to cut the dies out again. And I just wasn't going to go for that. I just skipped it. And here's the two pieces that was trash that you had to throw out, that were throwaway normally, but I did cut two of them out so I wouldn't throw them away. And then these others, they were, I think it's a thing on the mixer, like for a button or something, or some kind of plate to hold the beaters in. I don't know. But I went ahead and cut them out, made 4 down there, and then I used the 1/4-inch punch and made the other 4 buttons, well, 5. And then I remembered the ink. And I'm not going to have white as my background. I did consider it, did go through my mind, but I decided to give it brighter, more cheerful colors by using the yellow. And the paper I'm using is it was a Doodlebug collection from many years ago, and I didn't have a full sheet of anything left, so I thought, well, I'm going to use some of the scraps and make my layout. And that mustache paper, I had to make sure I had it right side up instead of upside down. And everything else didn't matter as much, but I had to make sure on that one. And I'm rounding, oh, right in the middle, I rounded all my corners in the 1/8 punch on the photo. Then I decided to do it like the Gameboy. And so the bottom right one has the 3/8 inch punch, and I did it on the background mustache paper too. Just to give it a little bit different look and coordinate with the page. That one paper in the background, it has like little stars, and then it looks like a rainbow, of course, which looks awesome. I love that page. I think I was kind of hoarding what I had left of it, but I went ahead and used it on this one. I just couldn't resist. And then of course there's the chevron, and I'm putting it on each side. And then a little bit I'm going to decide to add over to the right hand side some arrow paper, because I'm going to use some those arrows on the layout. And I think, oh, that'll go really good with it. Taking my viewfinder, well, this one's called Picture Wheel, with the same glue that I used on the screen on the Game Boy. And I'm only using half of it because, if I'm not going to show it all, I'm going to cut the other half off and save it for another layout. And I'm adding foam tape behind my Game Boy to give it some more dimension. And yeah, see how crooked that screen is? How did I not notice that? But yeah, it's fixed, thank goodness. I brought that die over with the arrows so I could show you what die it is. It's Tim Holtz Artful Arrows, and it makes quite a few arrows at one time. And I just used scraps, so some of my arrows weren't complete arrows. And yeah, I had to kind of toss them, but the others were. And I did 3 layers at once, so it was pretty quick. And my title, it's going to be, those are canvas, so I could have colored them. I thought about doing them gray to repeat the gray up there, but then I thought, why mess with a good thing? I'm just going to go ahead and leave it because I was worried if I started inking it and everything, I wouldn't get it to look good. So I just went ahead and left it. And it says waiting for his turn. Now, when the kids would come over, sometimes they would forget their own Game Boys. And I'm sure at the age he is, the Game Boy that all the kids had was the one that flipped open. And they had those. But I had this one, and all the kids used it. And I still have this one. I still have the original PlayStation 1. And of course, they had Wii and I don't know what all, but they would play with that PlayStation 1 and all its games when they would come out. So when they would forget to bring stuff, like maybe I picked them up at school and they didn't have it, they might have to take turns. So, yeah. And I'm going to change the title in the final pictures. There's going to be one more word on there. I thought about patiently waiting for his turn, but the look on his face don't actually scream patient. So I am putting quietly waiting his turn because he wasn't saying anything. He was just sitting there waiting his turn. And we were in a restaurant and there was 3 kids there, so there was having to be 3 take a turn. And he didn't actually get a turn. The food came before he got his turn. And it was only 5-minute increments. I thought maybe he might get a turn before then. But of course, the one that remembered to bring it got it first, and then the other 2. But yeah, he was sitting there quietly waiting. And I just almost forgot that I wanted to put Game Boy on the bottom of the table because it's flat there and it was such a nice big open space. In fact, there was so much open space of it that I cut part of it off, but it was going to say make it happen because I'm going to cut out a little phrase thing. I'm going to do 3 phrases actually, but that one's going to say make it happen and then the Game Boy. And then the other 2 phrases that I put on there, the struggle is very real. And then up there in the middle, yep, pretty much. So yeah, I'm going to add several words here. Oh, and the title, when I'm add that word quietly, I'm going to be using quick cuts, Phoebe dies, and they are single dies, so you have to cut them out one at a time. So they are super cute, but it is time consuming to go ahead and use them because, like I said, it's one at a time. And oh, yeah, I am done with my layout. And so the pictures really quick will show a little bit of difference by showing the quietly above the title. And there's the Game Boy with the clouds that were made from little teeny tiny flowers. And there's the Artful Arrows by Tim Holtz. And I think I still got the mustaches upside down looking at it. But I do have them correct on the arrow up there at the top. But be sure to look down there below for the links for the other guys. See what they did with their dies and their punches. See if they put any paper upside down on their layout. But yeah, there's the quietly, miraculously appeared. And if you leave a comment below, I'll get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And those who you already are, thank you so much. And thank you for the wonderful comments that you need. They really make my day. But I hope you all have a happy, scrappy week. Take care and stay safe. Bye.